For centuries, the true origin of the Thailand people has remained hidden in mystery. A land of golden temples and endless green fields, of kings and warriors, where the old world still breathes beneath the modern sky. But who are the first people of this kingdom? Where do they truly come from? And what secret story still flows inside their blood? Some historians once said the people of Thailand came from the mountains of southern China, wandering south along the rivers thousands of years ago. Others believe their roots go even deeper, that long before the first Chinese dynasties, long before written history, there were already people walking these lands, building the first sparks of what would one day become Thailand. Now, for the first time, science is lifting the veil. DNA, the hidden code of life, has begun to speak, and what it says is older than the temples of Ayutthaya, older than the kings of Sukhothai, older than memory itself. The discoveries of modern genetics are changing everything we thought we knew about the people of Thailand. The truth is not simple. It is layered, ancient, and astonishingly beautiful. Thailand lies at the beating heart of Southeast Asia, a bridge between India and China, between the mountains of the north and the seas of the south. For thousands of years, travelers, traders, and empires crossed this land. Each left the shadow of themselves, a language, a belief, a face, a single thread in the great fabric of Thailand's ancestry. Out of these countless threads, the nation we know today was woven. But to uncover how deep these roots go, scientists turned their gaze inward, into the blood, into the cells, into the very code that carries our past. They collected DNA from people across the country, from the mountain villages of the north to the islands of the south, from the plains of Isan to the heart of Bangkok. They compared those samples with the ancient remains found in forgotten caves and river valleys across Asia. What they discovered astonished even them, because inside the DNA of Thailand people lived the echo of nearly every civilization of Asia. Yes, there are traces of southern China, the Thai Kadai ancestry that once drifted down the great rivers of the Mekong and Salween. But beneath that lies something far older, a pulse from humanity's dawn. The same blood that ran through the very first humans who ever stepped into Southeast Asia still runs today through the veins of Thailand. Tens of thousands of years ago, before kings, before rice fields, before language itself, small bands of hunter-gatherers lived among the forests and caves of what is now Thailand. In Spirit Cave, Tom Lod, and other ancient shelters, archaeologists have uncovered bones and tools dating back 30 to 40,000 years. When scientists sequenced that DNA, they made a discovery that would shake history. A direct genetic bridge connecting those ancient humans to modern Thailand people. It means the first inhabitants of this land never vanished. Their children and the children after them survived ice ages, monsoons, and empires. Their blood still flows in every Thailand heartbeat today. But that was only the beginning. Around 4,000 years ago, new settlers arrived. They carried bronze, rice, and fresh words. These were the ancestors of the Thai-speaking peoples who migrated from southern China. They followed the valleys of the Mekong and the Ping, bringing new ideas, new songs, new dreams. Yet they did not erase the people who were already here. They blended. Families joined, cultures mixed, and over generations, something entirely new was born. The first outline of what we now call the people of Thailand.
This is what makes Thailand DNA unlike any other on Earth. It is not a single line of descent, but a mosaic, a living blend of the ancient hunter-gatherers, the early northern farmers, the Austroasiatic tribes from the west, and the Malay seafarers from the south. It is a story of meeting, not conquest, of unity, not division. When scientists mapped the DNA of Thailand people, they saw lines stretching in every direction, east toward China, west toward India and Myanmar, south toward Malaysia and the islands of Indonesia. Every strand was a road through time, carrying whispers of migration, trade, and love. The genome of Thailand is a mirror of Asia itself, diverse, connected, eternal. And yet, even within this ocean of diversity, there remained something unique, a heartbeat that belonged only to this land. Geneticists found a signature, a pattern that exists almost nowhere else. They called it the Thai Kadai genetic core, the fingerprint of an ancient people who refused to vanish. That fingerprint still beats in the blood of Thailand today. To see how deep this heartbeat goes, we must travel back to a world before Thailand existed, when jungles covered everything and the air was thick with rain. Imagine the land without borders or cities, only the rhythm of life. Rivers swelling with monsoon water, herds moving through tall grass, fires flickering beneath the open sky. The first humans of Thailand lived by those fires, carving their stories into stone, hunting, dreaming, surviving. They were the guardians of a land that would one day give birth to a kingdom. As centuries passed, they learned to farm, to shape bronze, to sail. Bronze drums thundered across valleys. Traders followed the tides. Rice became life itself. Villages turned into towns, and language took root, the early seeds of the speech we now call Thai. From this soil of time rose the first civilizations, Dwaravati, the Mon, the Khmer. Each built temples, carved deities, and left their mark upon the earth. Yet through every empire and every change, the essence of the Thailand people remained, adaptable, enduring, unbroken. It survived invasion, migration, and the turning of ages. It survived because it was carried not in books, but in blood, the invisible story that no conqueror could erase. That is what the DNA of Thailand reveals, a lineage that outlasted empires, the proof that the people of this land have been here since the dawn of mankind, that the story of Thailand is not a chapter in someone else's history, but an epic of its own.
Because the blood of Thailand remembers. It remembers the first fires, the first words, the first dreams of a people who would one day build a kingdom called Siam, and later, Thailand. From the mists of prehistory, the land that would become Thailand began to awaken. The river valleys grew busy with villages, bronze drums echoed through the hills, and rice fields shimmered under the sun. And slowly, from these scattered communities, something greater began to rise, a sense of belonging, a soul that whispered, "This is our land." By 2,000 years ago, the first organized cultures were forming. Civilizations like Dwaravati in the heart of the Chao Phraya Basin. They built circular cities surrounded by moats, traded beads and silk, and carved stone Buddhas that still sit in quiet meditation today. Their art and religion were deeply tied to India, yet their faces, their speech, and their hearts were of this land, of Thailand. This connection to India was not conquest. It was a meeting of spirits. Indian traders brought Buddhism and Hinduism, but the people of Thailand reshaped them with their own warmth. Where India gave gods, Thailand gave smiles. Where India taught karma, Thailand added compassion. Out of this fusion was born a faith unlike any other, gentle, graceful, and deeply human. But while Dwaravati flourished in the center, the Khmer Empire rose in the east, stretching its power into what is now Isan and beyond. Their stone temples, like Phnom Rung and Phamai, still rise from the jungle, silent witnesses to a time when gods walked in stone and kings ruled by divine right. Even then, the DNA of Thailand absorbed everything. Khmer, Mon, Malay, Indian, layer after layer, turning diversity into strength. The land was not divided by walls, but connected by rivers. And along those rivers, new voices began to emerge, the Thai-speaking peoples, migrating slowly from the north, carrying their language, their rice, and their way of life. They were not conquerors. They were settlers, farmers, families, builders of peace. As they moved southward, they met the people already here. They shared fields, faith, and families. And somewhere in that long blending, the identity of the Thailand people was born. Historians once believed that these Thai-speaking migrants replaced the older inhabitants, but DNA says otherwise. When scientists look deep into the genes of the modern people of Thailand,
As
they found the
centuries
truth.
passed, new
Not
kingdoms rose from the
replacement,
soil of
but
unity.
unity.
Sukhothai,
The
often
ancient
called the
bloodlines
first
of the
true
land were
kingdom
never
of Thailand,
erased. They
emerged
were
in the
embraced.
13th century.
The people
Its kings
mixed,
wrote inscriptions
shared,
in a graceful
and
script
became
that would
one.
later evolve into the modern Thai
This
alphabet.
is why Thailand
They
is not
spoke
just
of
a name.
justice, freedom, and
It is a
love for
story
the people.
of becoming.
One famous line still echoes across time. In the water, there are fish. In the fields, there is rice. It was more than poetry. It was a vision, the soul of Thailand itself, simple, fertile, and full of life. Sukhothai became the first light of a nation, but its flame was carried further south to Ayutthaya, a city of gold, wealth, and world power. From the 14th to the 18th century, Ayutthaya became the beating heart of Asia's trade. Merchants came from China, Japan, India, Persia, and even Europe. Yet, unlike most empires that crumble under such diversity, Ayutthaya thrived, because Thailand had already learned, through blood and time, the art of harmony. Its people did not fear foreignness. They absorbed it, transformed it, made it their own. In the DNA of Ayutthaya's people, scientists today find the proof. A blend of northern Thai roots, Mon Khmer layers, Indian and Persian influences, even traces of Chinese ancestry. And yet, through all this, the identity remained uniquely Thailand. A balance between openness and pride, welcoming the world but never losing the self. When Ayutthaya finally fell in 1767, burned by invasion and betrayal, the nation's body was wounded, but its spirit did not die. Because that spirit was older than any city. It lived in every heartbeat, every family, every grain of rice. From the ashes rose a new capital, Bangkok, and from the ruins rose a truth. You can destroy a kingdom, but you cannot destroy a people whose blood remembers. And this is perhaps the greatest secret inside Thailand DNA. It is not only about where people came from, it is about what they became. From ancient tribes to great empires, from foreign gods to gentle smiles, the people of Thailand turned every influence into identity. They did not conquer the world, they conquered time. Today, when a child of Thailand smiles, you can see it, that calm strength born from 1,000 ancestors. When monks chant beneath temple roofs, their voices carry the same rhythm that once echoed in prehistoric caves. When farmers bow to the soil, when the king blesses the people, when festivals paint the streets in gold and red, all of it is part of a living legacy written in their DNA. Because Thailand is not just a place on the map, it is an inheritance of beauty, struggle, and unity. It is proof that a nation can survive every empire, every war, every storm, as long as its people remember who they are. The DNA of Thailand whispers the same message that its land has spoken for 40,000 years. We endure, we adapt, we are one. When scientists finally began to map the DNA of the Thailand people, they expected to find clear borders, one ethnicity here, one origin there. But what they found instead was a masterpiece, a tapestry of human history woven so tightly it was impossible to pull apart.
From the north, they traced genetic threads linking to the mountains of southern China. From the west, faint echoes from India and Burma. From the south, maritime influences that cross the Malay Peninsula. And from the east, subtle patterns that connect all the way to Laos, Cambodia, and Vietnam. It was as if Thailand stood at the crossroads of humanity, a living bridge between civilizations. Every migration, every marriage, every traveler who came and stayed left a mark. Yet those marks did not dilute the nation, they made it stronger. Because Thailand has always had a gift, the gift of turning difference into belonging. Inside the genes of the people lies an ancient story of survival. Thousands of years ago, when the Ice Age ended and seas rose, the early humans of Southeast Asia adapted. While others migrated to colder lands, the ancestors of Thailand stayed, mastering the rhythm of the monsoon, the secrets of the soil, the wisdom of water. Their DNA carries that memory, resilience in heat, endurance in change. And later, when wars and kingdoms came and went, when languages shifted and religions spread, that resilience endured. Because identity in Thailand is not fragile, it flows like the river Chao Phraya. No matter how many times it bends, it still finds its way to the sea. Modern science now confirms what history always hinted, that the people of Thailand are among the most genetically diverse in Asia, yet among the most culturally unified.
Their genetic roots stretch from ancient Austroasiatic tribes to Thai migrants, from Indian merchants to Chinese settlers. Every era, every encounter, every embrace, written into the code of life itself. And that's what makes the Thailand story so powerful. Because DNA doesn't just carry information, it carries emotion. It carries the laughter of ancient farmers who planted the first rice, the prayers of monks who lit candles in stone temples, and the courage of kings who rebuilt their cities from ashes. When scientists compare the DNA of Thailand to others around the world, they see something remarkable. Traces of connection, tiny fragments that link them to people across Asia, Europe, and even the Pacific. Proof that humanity is not a set of walls, but a circle. And Thailand, standing in the center of that circle, reminds the world of what we all share. The same pulse, the same fire, the same story written in blood. It's easy to look at a nation and see borders, but when you look into its DNA, borders disappear. You see the long journey of a people who refused to break apart, who chose unity over division, kindness over cruelty, grace over fear. And that choice is the soul of Thailand.
This is why, even in the face of modern challenges, globalization, change, and pressure from all sides, the Thai spirit remains unshaken. Because pride here isn't arrogance, it's gratitude. Pride in ancestors who survived. Pride in faith that endured. Pride in a smile that has become a symbol of peace across the world. To be from Thailand is to carry a legacy, not of conquest but of compassion. Not of dominance, but of balance. The bloodline of Thailand is proof that harmony can survive history itself. Every DNA strand is a song, sung by the mountains, whispered by the rivers, guarded by the temples. And when science listens carefully, it hears that song clearly. We are many, yet we are one. We are Thailand. In the heart of Southeast Asia, the sun rises over golden temples and silver rivers. Morning light spills across the mountains, over the rice fields, over cities that never sleep. And as Thailand wakes, its story continues. A story that began long before memory, carried now in every heartbeat. The scientists who once looked into DNA saw patterns, numbers, and codes. But when you look closer, it's not just science, it's poetry. Every gene tells of survival through floods and famine. Every strand carries a whisper of ancestors who refused to vanish. They built their lives from mud and hope, from prayers and patience, from love that outlasted empire. The blood of Thailand remembers everything. The wars, the kings, the monks, the mothers, the farmers who bowed to the earth and thanked it for another day. It remembers the cities that burned and were rebuilt. It remembers the children who laughed even when the world turned hard. Because the people of Thailand were never just survivors. They were builders of faith, of beauty, of peace. They took from the world what was good and turned it into something new. From Indian gods, they carved compassion. From Chinese trade, they learned strength. From every storm, they learned to smile. And in that smile lies their power, the quiet, unshakable pride of a nation that has never been colonized. The only land in Southeast Asia that stood free while the world was divided by empires. Not by luck, but by wisdom, diplomacy, and unity. While others fought to break chains, Thailand kept its dignity unbroken. That freedom, that independence, is not written on paper, it's written in DNA.
Scientists may say that genes shape us, but in Thailand, it's the spirit that shapes the genes. A spirit of harmony, of patience, of strength without anger. In temples and cities, on islands and mountains, that spirit still breathes. It's in the saffroned robes of monks who walk barefoot at dawn. It's in the laughter of children splashing during Songkran. It's in the quiet pride of families gathering for Loi Kratong, watching candles drift like memories on the water. Every ritual, every smile, every sunrise, it's all a reminder that a nation is not defined by its borders, but by its heart. And Thailand's heart has never stopped beating. Today, when the world looks to Thailand, they see beauty, beaches, temples, food, kindness. But what they don't always see is the strength behind that beauty,
A strength born from thousands of years of change, fusion, and forgiveness. A strength carried in the blood from ancestors who built peace out of chaos and hope out of hardship. The DNA of Thailand tells us one final truth: that no matter where you come from, no matter how your history twists and turns, unity is possible, harmony is power, and peace is victory. When scientists look at Thailand, they see evolution. When the world looks at Thailand, they see grace. But when the people of Thailand look at themselves, they see something deeper, a living legacy. One that began in ancient forests, crossed oceans of time, and still shines today in every act of kindness, in every temple bell, in every smile. Because to be from Thailand is not just to belong to a country, it is to belong to a story, one written not by kings or empires, but by the courage of ordinary people who refuse to forget who they are. And so, as the sun sets over the land of gold and faith, one truth remains unshaken. The DNA of Thailand is not just in its people, it is in its soul. And that soul will never fade.